How Bizarre is intended for mature, open-minded audiences only. If you are easily offended, we suggest you turn this wacky shit straight off. Okay, Christopher, are you ready to go?
Let's get this the fuck over with.
So for anyone who doesn't know what we're doing here, we teased on the Facebook page, and maybe, I don't know, I don't think this has really come up in this detail on the show. But a while back, I brought up, or somebody brought up, the Shakti mat bed of nails phenomena. I was pro bed of nails. Christopher was like, fuck them shits. And I said, you need to give it a full 20 minutes to thoroughly enjoy the experience. So the pain doesn't start to subside until at least 5-10 minutes into it. Well, this was not my idea. This was Christopher's idea. He is going to do the Shakti mat. Now, you guys can't see it, but he set up the webcam, so we're actually watching this. And it is the full deal. It's got the spiky pillow and everything. So he's about to lay on it. Obviously, the show isn't live for you all, but we are experiencing it live with him, and essentially you will be too. So without further ado, now here's the thing. The first 20 minutes of the show, we got a lot to get through in this show tonight, but the first 20 minutes, while we're shooting the shit, Christopher will be reporting back on how things are going, and hopefully we make it to the full 20 before we get into my soup day shower, and I say we get into this post-haste. Christopher does have a microphone down on the floor.
Yeah.
So go for it.
Real quick.
Oh, wait, hang on.
Hey, stop, guys, real quick. Do you have this recorded? Or do you, because I could recap, I could do a screen cap of this and record all of this.
That's fine.
Get a couple screen caps, but yeah, he's going to be...
You can record it, I just don't know what I'm going to... Here's the deal, guys. I'm working
okay.
real hard on losing the dad bod, but I still haven't done it yet. So.
It's okay. No problem.
Must be, that must be traumatic for you to have your unflattering midsection, just out there for anybody to enjoy. But sure, we'll be respectful.
Okay, I'm gonna try to get on down here and see if I can get situated and get my mic positioned properly, because I think I've got it at a good angle, but we're gonna see. All right,
because you don't want to have to do this twice. This is the worst part.
Oh fuck this! What am I doing? Oh Jesus!
Oh, well, here we go.
No!
There he is.
Oh, this is not pleasant.
Okay, now he's...
Okay. Oh, yeah, moving this is really not great. Okay.
He doesn't have his headphones on yet, so I can't communicate with him.
Okay.
I got a full screen. I got a giant nipple in my
yeah, mostly nipple.
Sorry about that.
Okay, so we can hear you fine. We can see you fine. Are you positioned in a quote-unquote comfortable arrangement here?
It's not great. Okay, how do you do this?
This is the worst. So just settle in, go as flat as you can, and get yourself in a position that requires very little movement. The deep breath is key. And here's the thing. As we mentioned, as we talked about before, this can be quite panic-inducing at first. That will fade. You just have to breathe through it, and you will get through it. So how are you feeling initially? It sounds unpleasant.
It's really, really not pleasant.
Yeah.
The moving is the worst part, though.
Full on nipple on the screen now. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sorry. I'm trying to do something here this way. It's the it's the moving.
That's good. That's a good shot.
And the settling in. I gotta
get a screenshot of this.
Oh, the settling in, like as my back continues to come down on these needles of death. It's not great. It's a really intense pain, actually.
Yeah.
Laughing hurts worse.
It is intense. That's going to be tough for you. Any kind of talking, any kind of laughing is not recommended, but we're a few minutes into it. Now we need to keep track. So you are at, let's say,
timer.
You may wish to stay on it a little bit longer, but
I'm leaning towards probably not.
I'm looking forward to watching you get off it, because it's 50-50 whether or not, I think maybe getting off it might be a little more painful than getting on it, because it sticks to your skin. What? You got to go slow. Yeah. No sudden movements when you go to get off it, son, especially not after you hit the 20-minute mark. Your face is enjoyable. Well,
I'm sure that's all you see is my dumb fucking face because I can't position this any better. But.
It's fine. That's all we needed was the proof that you're doing it, and the face. Personally, is what I want to see the most, and it's telling a story all by itself.
Wow! Did you set a timer?
Yeah, you got the head roll there. It's all good.
You've almost been on it you've almost done 5 minutes. Not quite.
I do feel a weird sensation of like blood flowing through my body quicker. It feels like in my arms even, which isn't.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Well, see, you'll feel it all over your all over your body because those endorphins just kind of rush every which way, and they're carried by your bloodstream, from what I understand. Nervous system, which goes all over the place. So who knows where you'll feel it the most? I usually feel it in my legs and my feet the most, even though I don't put my legs or feet on the mat.
Oh my God! Yeah. That's
you got
not recommended.
You moved a little bit there. Yeah, I would try to.
Oh no.
Hold it still.
I assume it's kind of like a tattoo. The more
hold the line, hold the line.
Go ahead, Lau.
Well, I feel personally like it'd be like getting a tattoo. Like at first,
it does.
But then after you just kind of lay into it, the pain kind of goes away and those endorphins take over, and then it's kind of more of a pleasant thing. You just had an orb go right past your face.
Yeah, I did see an orb. So Christopher is now enjoying it a little bit more. Well, that'll probably help. Yeah, meditating on that thing is pretty next level. But right now, I would say you are pretty close to getting past the worst of the pain. Now, you may not experience sort of the euphoria of the thing until closer to the 20-minute mark, but I got a feeling in a couple of minutes, I can tell you're already settling into it a bit. It's a little like climbing into an ice bath, where at first you're like, fuck this, I can't do this. And then just a few minutes, you could stay there all day until you move.
It's like climbing into an ice bath of razor blades.
Sure.
That's more... Yeah.
Ice cold razor blades. So walk us through it.
It's a really great way to describe it. The initial shock is get the fuck off. I don't want to be on this. What's the point? But now it's more of a dull pressure. Definitely more of a dull pressure.
And it's only going to continue to get more manageable. So that's good. That's a good sign. You're only at the 5-minute mark and you're already...
Oh, man.
Well, in therapeutical tools and stuff like this, I know a lot of people do like things called cupping, and what that is,
Christopher's known to cup me every now and again.
A little bit of cupping in the middle.
Yeah,
of
what is the point of cupping? Is it
cupping doesn't hurt though?
Well, no, but it's I'm saying for a theory, it's something that's supposed to be beneficial and healthy for you. Is it supposed to suck out the toxins out from lower in your muscles to get them pulled out a little bit more, so they extract your skin, you know what I mean? That's the whole
cupping is basically getting like a bunch of hickeys on your back or whatever part of the body that they do it on.
That's what it's supposed to be doing in certain spots, your spine, especially for most part. And
but that's literally what it is though. They put these little things on you and then they suck the blood up to the top of the skin, and it's like you're getting a bunch of hickeys.
Yeah, it's pretty gross. I was going to say the other one. It's kind of the theory to this seems to me kind of a little scatter shot of acupuncture. You know what I mean? But more like of a scatter shot, like a shotgun in the dark kind of a way to do acupuncture. There's specific points in their muscles that they do put pins in you that are supposed to they're nervous part of your nervous central system, and that they're trying to get those needles into those points.
Yeah, it's a similar thing, but it's different. This is acupressure. But it's very similar. So where are you feeling now, Chris?
Well, the joint was a bad idea. Not because the weed was a bad idea, but the moving was terrible. Yeah. And I'm trying not to burn myself. So that was not great. So I'm kind of resettling in and hoping that sharp pains subside.
Well, why don't we see if Lyle and John Mark had any news stories to bring while you can do just that. Settle in, try to relax, because you're just now about at the 7-minute mark. So not quite halfway there, but I think that it's going to get pretty easy for you if you hold still for the next few minutes. So did you guys have any stories you wanted to bring before we get onto my soup day, Jack?
I do.
Good, let's do it.
Lemmy, actually. So we haven't heard, too much news about Lemmy since he died a couple years ago. Apparently, in his will, he stipulated that he wanted portions of his ashes to be placed into these special bullets that have like Lemmy etched on the sides of the casing and sent to people he considered friends or, like people that he admired or whatever. And people have been receiving those recently and just like posted, Ricky Rockman, and you may remember from, if you're old enough, who was the host of Headbangers Ball on MTV back in the day for a while, received one.
And I think the owner of the Cat House, famous L.A. Hard rock, heavy metal. If not the owner, he was a big personality involved with that one.
Something like that. Yeah, there's only a couple names that I've seen that have received them, but I'm sure there's more. But they received these like bullets with Lemmy's ashes in them, with these like a little commemorative thing, and it's like, whoa, that's pretty crazy. Like,
how do you think the letter went? Like, hey guys, I'm in heaven. Hope you're doing well. Anyways, here's a bullet with me ashes in it. Oh God, laughing.
I like that he's a leprechaun in this story.
It's like so on brand for Lemmy and Motorhead,
This is so surreal. Trying to do an actual kind of show during this. We won't be doing this through the whole show, ladies and gentlemen, but this is so fucking funny to see Chris enjoying a good laugh and then ow, 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 ow. But you do look like you're settling into it a little.
Is that view better? Less nipple?
Yeah, I just got a super close up on your face. So you don't know who got these bullets other than Ricky Rockman.
There was somebody else, but I can't remember the name. It was somebody I wasn't super familiar with. That one seems kind of
surprising. Ricky Rockman, of all people.
Yeah. Well, apparently, like, they probably hung out together at the Rainbow, and we're like,
sure.
you know what I mean? Like, we're kind of like tight, like as far as like being in the music industry and stuff and things like that.
Like him or hate him, Ricky Rockman was one of the kings of that scene for a long time. The whole Sunset Strip. But yeah, the Cat House was famous for, I think, probably the biggest bands. Well, Guns N' Roses, I think, was more the whiskey, but
yeah, Whiskey or Go-Go.
But certainly, Faster Pussycat was like their home bar. And who else? There's another band that I'm spacing.
L.A. Guns, maybe.
Yeah, L.A. Guns. That's why I was thinking of Guns N' Roses. But a very interesting story about the Cat House, and I wasn't a huge fan of a lot of that glam metal that so much ended up dominating the Sunset Strip, but I love those stories. Like one of my favorite documentaries of all time is The Decline of Western Civilization Part 2, which is it's right in the thick of that. It's such a time capsule. It's an amazing documentary. I highly recommend checking out.
Aquanets and spandex.
Absolutely. That was what people looked like when we were teenagers, younger teenagers. By the time we were older teenagers, they looked like, somewhere between Nirvana and Four Non Blondes. You remember the weird later 90s giant hat trend, like the Dr. Seuss and Jester hats? Like people just wear that shit to school.
Oh, like Jamiroquai. I remember that.
Yeah, Jamiroquai had like a fancier version of it. Virtual insanity. I love that I like that song, but I fucking love that video. It is always so hard for me to figure out what's going on. You remember that video where it's like
it was cool.
At some
all
point,
the moving tracks on the ground.
It looks like the floor moves sometimes, but then it looks like the walls
like doing all these crazy moves and the walls and shit move around, and it's like doesn't make sense with gravity and all that stuff.
Yeah, I think for the most part,
I love that album. I gotta be honest, I fucking love that album.
I don't know any songs other than that one, but that video, every time it came on, it was a catchy enough tune, and every time that video came on, I just was mesmerized by it.
I remember that video, but all I really remember of Jamiroquai is fucking Napoleon Dynamite.
Did he cover that, or was it? I mean, not cover. Was it like in the movie? I don't.
That's the song that he danced to at the end. Was Jamiroquai?
Are you sure?
Yeah. Are you sure? Because I don't remember that either.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah.
It wasn't that song.
It wasn't that song, but it was a Jamiroquai song.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. Yeah. All I remember is the song that he's whipping his girlfriend's ass at tetherball, and it's that song. I'm sorry, but I'm just thinking of the right words to say.
Is that Jamiroquai?
No, that's who the fuck is that?
What are we doing here?
He's starting to hallucinate, boys.
I'm pretty sure that was one hit. Is that Jamiroquai in my room? Your
Ow.
virtual insanity.
Oh, stop it.
Like, I get it now. Stop it.
Oh.
You're over the halfway mark. You only got, you're almost 5 minutes away. So holding still as you can, do you feel the pain going away?
Yeah.
And do you feel any sensation throughout the rest of your body?
I feel a heat.
Yeah.
Which is weird.
Feel the heat.
It gets super. The heat is immediately followed by the. So for me, when I first lay on it, it's the initial sting, and then it starts pulsing. Like you feel just like your heartbeat going through every single prick. It's just like. When you prick your finger, you can feel your heartbeat in it. It's like that times 1,000. Then that shifts into the heat. After the heat comes the, okay. Yeah, I feel like I just took a nice bath, nice hot bath. And then it shifts into a more pleasing sensation from there. Okay, hold that pose, Chris. I feel like we owe our listeners at home a live update because we have a thread going on Facebook.
Right.
But and while you're sitting there hopefully enjoying the gateway into the next stage of this, John Mark, did you have anything else you wanted to bring, or Lyle?
Did you guys hear about the ship that drifted in the Suez Canal and blocked 10% of global fucking shipping for like 2 days now?
It's still stuck, right? They haven't got it unstuck from.
Yeah, there's a giant container ship that I from what I understand from barely researching this story, was not rated to actually go through the Suez Canal. It might be too big to have tried to go through there. So here's what I know. Apparently, this ship took a really weird route to go into the Suez Canal, and if you follow its trail like you do with those airplane tracking apps, and you can see like it kind of draws a picture of where it went, so you can see, you know what I mean, see the thing. Mm-hmm. It looks like it drew like a big circle and then like a giant dick and balls, and then got stuck in the Suez Canal.
Yeah, it definitely looked like a dick. Like I thought they did it on purpose. I was like, oh, they're dong drawn.
And it's like it's got like its head, like, so the bow has one of those bows that has like the sort of the bulbous thing that like helps it like go faster or whatever, like to break through the water better. Uh-huh. But that looks like it's stuck in the bank in the back of it, so it's like at an angle, like a right angle, with the bow in the opposite bank and the stern like up against the other side, and it like they can't. And it's like one of the threads I was reading about it showed a GIF of Austin Powers in one of those movies where he's got the thing in he's stuck in the corridor with the thing. He's trying to back it up and do the thing, but it's got like a ship superimposed on it.
That's exactly what it would be like. So holy shit, this is as funny as it sounds. This could be a fucking disaster, and I'm sure it is a disaster.
It has held up apparently 10% of global shipping for 2 days now. So that there's no other ships can get through the fucking canal. So anything that's supposed to go through there to get around the world, they're just kind of like stuck. They either have to wait or figure out an alternate route, or I don't know how global shipping lanes work, but I'm assuming that there's like factors like fuel and all this other stuff and weather and all that kind of crap that you have to take into consideration. So it's a pretty big fucking deal. So whoever was responsible for this had a real bad fucking day, not to quote some other people that we don't want to talk about right now, but you know what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, fascinating. Huh. We don't really have any way to fix it. I mean, other than the Austin Powers forward, backwards.
When you see the photo,
well,
of that fucking ship like stuck in there, you like, how are they going to fix this?
Yeah, that's what I'm just.
I did see a picture of that somebody posted on that same thread I was talking about, with a picture of the ship stuck in the canal. and then there was like superimposed the gravity gun from Half-Life 2, and it said something like, "Don't worry, I got this."
Yeah, it seems like it's going to take some abstract thought to work this one out, eh, boys?
Yeah,
like some sort of weapon we don't realize we have yet. So they need some Philadelphia experiment shit going on there.
I think they're probably going to have to excavate like both sides of the canal to get that shit.
Sure.
I don't know, man. It's
something like that. I'm
somebody's
sure
fired, right?
Probably just
somebody's definitely
to tow it out.
Somebody's definitely like I don't know. Yeah, it's bad.
Yeah, I like Fun's idea. Could you imagine that just plopping down? You know, it's a dark, mysterious night, and all of a sudden this psychedelic lightning starts shooting down through downtown New York City, and then all of a sudden, big old fucking ship
just appears in Times Square. Wall with bodies sticking halfway out of it. The Philadelphia experiment always really captured my imagination. I don't buy it necessarily. I used to buy it, or I wanted to buy it. I used to want to buy just about everything. I liked all the kooky shit. The internet and a lot of more modern philosophies have kind of ruined some of these stories for me, but I still like some of those tales, man. What was it, Al Bulick? Was that one the guy that was the big purveyor of Philadelphia?
I don't know. That name sounds familiar, though.
Yeah, I'm not sure. There's a lot of
teleportation or time travel. They weren't sure, but the ship allegedly disappeared, then reappeared with its crew intermeshed,
all fucked up
with the steel in the such a haunting image. Probably didn't happen, but can you imagine if it did? Like you're just like this cloudy, fuzzy netherworld, and then all of a sudden you're realizing that you're halfway built into this massive metal structure, and whatever.
Well, it's like The Fly, but like instantly, or like a bad transporter accident from Star Trek, right?
Mm-hmm. That's what I'm saying. Well, Chris, you have surpassed the 20-minute mark. How you feeling?
You know, I realized there is a trick to this, and you're 100% right. It's not moving at all.
Well, yeah, for sure.
And the problem I had with this session is I left my iWatch on, my Apple Watch, and it was going crazy. So I was like, fuck, am I missing something from work? Or so I had to look, and it took me out of it. But when I laid completely still, as I am now,
no FOMO.
Mm-hmm.
What's FOMO?
Fear of missing out.
Oh,
no FOMO.
No FOMO. I'm going to use that, John Mark. When I find myself lying very, very still for at least 3 or 4 minutes, I feel very calm, and I definitely felt my pulse throughout my whole body, and I'm feeling some weird experience of like weightlessness and then also heaviness at the same time. It's weird. Like my arms feel very light right now.
Yeah.
But my legs feel very heavy. It's a very, very strange feeling. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
How much do you think those tokes you took had to do with that?
I toke a lot, so I don't think very much.
Probably not too much.
Yeah, he's basically set the normal. He that toke basically got us to, what do they call it?
Baseline.
Your baseline, huh? So what were you saying, Chris? That last bit, you got cut off. Just
I don't recall. It's a unique sensation. I don't know that I'll do this regularly, but I do think I'll at least give it another shot.
Yeah.
With no distractions, maybe in the dark.
Stillness. Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, now we are ready to watch you dismount. And here's my suggestion. Once you start, you got to follow through, but go. It's not a rip the Band-Aid off situation. You want to go kind of slow. But not super slow. That's my advice. You'll sort of get a feel for it as you.
So does he need to? Okay, so does he need to just kind of roll off to the side, or does he need to sit up?
I would recommend sitting up. Yeah, pushing off from the sides where you don't have pricks, of course, on the floor, and then just sitting up and going that way, because it will stick to you for a little bit. It's very enjoyable, and your back will look like. Ancient Chinese torture,
we'll
the
Iron
Iron
Maiden.
Maiden.
Some shots of that.
Yeah. It's startling. It is really startling when you look at the back. It looks like a massive injury.
Can you dare to go longer though, or is it too unsafe to do it for so long at the first time?
Oh no, you can do it. He could do it as long as he wanted, but I thought in the interest of a better show experience. So let's see. All right, go for it. Hopefully the mic will pick up the the sound of it sticking to his flesh. Let's listen. He looks terrible.
Oh God! Fuck! Oh!
He did the Band-Aid.
Oh fuck!
Ooh, you went hardcore. He can't hear us.
Let's see his back. I want to see the wound.
I almost fell back onto it.
Ooh, let's so turn around. Let's see that back.
All right, hold on.
That's not so bad.
Let it focus.
My hair. You just see my hairy ass back.
Yeah, you can't really see. It's a little high contrast. Now you will feel a bit like you got a sunburn for a couple hours, just so you know.
Can't hear you. Hold on. I gotta readjust. Oh.
This is so fucking bizarre.
Wow.
I'm glad he did it though. It seems like he got a little taste of what it has to offer, if nothing else.
Putting the shirt back on.
I was waiting for some sort of update.
Well, this new breaking news. There is a pastor that might be in a little bit of trouble in South Africa for healing his when you're a priest, what do you call your flock? He would cure his flock,
the congregation, or whatever,
with his flagellants.
Really?
Oh, is this the priest story?
Huh.
So apparently this priest was going around for quite a while, and he would, depending on how he'd do it, either like fart on you or just fart near you to kind of heal you. And the upper kind of church found out about it and kind of put a stop to it. But it was a real thing.
Well, who are they to keep a man of miracles from doing his divine work? Huh. Who's to say? I mean, is that any crazier than the rest of the stories, in terms of ceremony and, I guess, items of miraculous display? Huh. Well, God bless him. I wonder where that started. I wonder what the origin story is there.
Well, I know,
you just fart around someone is like, you're always farting, but I never heard.
Well, it's it's different, like if it came with you, the story's pretty bland and it is what it is. Doesn't have a whole lot of detail in it, but if it did have that detail of like, the guy came up to you and farted and smelled like, I don't know, say like warm, fresh cooked cookies, and maybe like flowers. Mm-hmm. You're like, that's Jesus. That's God's work. That's fucking Lord God's work. Mm-hmm. And then, your pain went away. Well,
I must have talked at some point about my friend who we'll call Coob, because that was what we called him. How he had this.
You spit. We'll call him Coob, because that was his name.
We talk about divine gas. This dude, whatever we were around, he would breathe in those aromas, and his farts would smell like that for a while. And we tested this. So
what do you mean? Like he would like smell a rose and then like fart a rose smell?
And we tested it with roses, flowers. Yeah, we would be like around gasoline, and for like an hour, his farts would smell like gasoline.
This is black magic.
And then we would. But one time we were going through a strawberry patch. We took a road trip to Omak. We went by this beautiful strawberry patch, and it was one of the greatest smells. We're like, holy shit, dear God, please let Coob's farts smell like strawberries for the rest of the trip. And they fucking did. At least for a while, they smelled like strawberries.
That's not possible. Like, this is in your brain, right? You guys this is heroin days. So. This was post heroin days.
I would have thought that it was in my head, but everyone else from that era will tell you the same story. We tell that story time and time again. Now, I saw him not that long ago, and I asked him if it was still a phenomenon, and it seems like it's faded. I believe he punched that ticket too many times. So, but that was a real phenomenon, 100%. I've never
That's
heard of
just-
anyone else experiencing that.
You've got the strangest friends with the flatulent stories. Like, didn't you just talk about the guy that could was always lighting his parts on fire?
Yeah, that's Scott.
Yeah.
Well, some people are just gassy, you know. Like my friend Josh could fart on demand. Abigail could fart on demand. It's like I can't do that. If I tried to do that, I'd probably just shit my pants. Like I fart when I
always
have to
keeping
fart.
one in the chamber. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. It's just there's always, I think that's exactly it. They're just constantly producing. So there is literally always one in the chamber. So how you feeling now, Chris? Well, last check-in before we move on. Now that you're all settled, you got your shirt on, you're back in a seating position. How you feeling overall?
I feel pretty good. I feel like I just had a workout or something. Like you know, when you're done working out, maybe it's the endorphins or something.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's really interesting. My back hurts still though, and getting up was
It'll sting for a bit.
Fucked.
Yeah, and you toughen up a little bit. You know, you do toughen your skin up a bit, and laying on it now actually I think feels pretty good to me, even though it does still hurt. It's an association thing too. You know where it's going. So
yeah.
Well, I hope you do try it
interesting
again.
Experience.
In,
There is pain.
Complete stillness on your own and give it the full meal deal. But I think you got more of a taste, and I'm proud of you for doing it, even though the last time was not pleasant, and everybody on Facebook was not going out of their way to encourage you in your experiment tonight. Nothing but bad feedback on fellow Shakti Mat users. But
yeah, there was no like, you're gonna love it.
yeah,
Like,
there was no me version of the story. Anyone else got any news before we get on to my soup de jour, which is going to be fascinating?
I
do
do got
believe.
something. I got a couple of things that I got to get to, you guys. Apologies. I've been laying on a fucking bed full of broken glass for 25 minutes.
Sorry.
We got to talk about this Cinnamon Toast Crunch Shrimp Gate. I have a feeling one of three of you knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
I
well,
do.
you asked me about it, but I still haven't seen anything about it. Although I'm not on Twitter much these
John
days.
Mark, did you see this story? Yes, I did. It was wonderful. Cool, I thought so. I'd be the one.
I don't know.
has shrimp,
I
it
think I
has-
might have. I think
I
I,
like
might
cinnamon
have heard
toast
something.
crunch.
I think I might have heard something tangentially related to this, but you never know with the way the internet works these days. If what you're reading is like a real thing or a parody or a mockery of, I have fucking no idea. So like, let me hear what you
Okay.
have to say, and
Okay.
I can chime in if I actually heard about it or not.
Perfect. This was something that my lovely coworker Ashley, shout out, brought to my attention. She always has the best Twitter shit. So she follows a guy. I'm seeing. I actually have a bunch of photos to send when I do this too, because it's that fucking interesting. His name is Jensen Karp. Now I did not know who this was. I still don't really know what he does. She kind of explained it. He works in the industry somehow in LA. He's married to the actress that played Topanga from Boy Meets World. No idea where that came from, but that's his wife.
Okay.
So anyways, he goes to have a bowl of his favorite cereal, Cinnamon Toast Crunch, enjoys the bowl, goes to maybe have just a little bit more, and he notices when he goes to pour cereal that a couple of weird looking objects tumble out of the bag, and at closer inspection, they appear to be fucking shrimp tails.
Like legitimate.
Okay, picture coming. So he took a photo of it right away. I have lots more to show you. So this gets weirder and more interesting and more fucked up. This is coming over Facebook, guys. So first thing he does is he tweets out to CTC Squares, which is the manufacturer of this. Why are there shrimp tails in my cereal? This is not a bit.
Wow.
So Cinnamon Toast Crunch, the official Twitter brand, jumps out because they see this tweet and it's starting to get retweets, and he posts a couple of photos of him. So like you see this and you're like, wow. And Cinnamon Toast Crunch official says, "We're sorry to see what you found. We would like to report this to our quality team and replace the box. Can you please send us a DM to collect more details? Thanks." His response to this is, "Guys, I'm not sure I'm ready for another box."
Yeah. Not
Okay.
just
So
yet.
short answer is that I saw like one of those meme recaps of this
Okay. Well,
today, and I was like, "What the fuck? That's crazy!" And
I got more. I'm going to share the whole story here.
Good deal.
Cinnamon Toast Crunch then responds to him at Jensen Karp. After further investigation with our team that closely examined the image, it appears to be an accumulation of the cinnamon sugar that sometimes can occur when ingredients aren't thoroughly blended. We assure you that there's no possibility of cross-contamination with shrimp. To which he responds,
Worth a try.
He says, okay, well, after further investigation with my eyes, these are cinnamon-coated shrimp tails, you weirdos. I wasn't at all mad until you now tried to gaslight me.
Yeah.
And so he sends this. You can see that tweet I just read to you. And he's got another picture of the shrimp in his hand. Like, they're fucking shrimp tails that were baked into this. It's pretty clear.
It is very clear.
Wow. And that's the thing too. I mean, the cinnamon toast crunch, it tastes like cinnamon and it tastes like sugar. So you get that sweet, nice stuff and it tastes good. And you're like, and then you go the opposite end of that spectrum where you got some crisp,
All right.
like shit. It's real salty.
I got like a bunch more to get. This gets better. Nice. So the Cinnamon Toast Crunch official Twitter, he's posting screenshots of all this, of course. Cinnamon Toast Crunch official reaches out to him and says, thank you, Jensen. We would also like to send you some General Mills vouchers for this unpleasant experience. If that's okay with you, we'll send them right away. And he says, no, you just told me it wasn't shrimp tails.
Like, would you like a free box of Cinnamon Toast Crunch or a free can of shrimp tails? How can we make this better?
Okay, here we go. So, I'm sorry, I'm prepping more things to send you here. So, he then posts, I was convinced to go back through the bag since when I first noticed the shrimp tails, I freaked out and closed the box. Here's all my findings, which now includes a weird little string. Okay, so here it comes. So,
boy, this is gonna be terrible for them.
So this is everything that was in the box that wasn't cereal. Okay. Then he says, wait a sec, what's this? And he pulls out some of the Cinnamon Toast Crunch, and he sees what appears to be little pellets in them. I just sent this photo over. He posts that, and he goes, what the fuck is this? Now, keep in mind, he already ate a bowl of this.
Okay, so the pieces with just something is in them. Looks like brown
something is in them.
Worm-shaped
So he puts that
things.
up on the internet. And somebody says, that's fucking mouse or rat droppings. Guaranteed they made a home in a bag of flour or other raw ingredients, and all of the shrimp, string, and everything else is their scavenged items. And he tweets that and he says, I just screamed inside my house. And she goes, imagine if you hadn't noticed any of this until you were eating it. And he goes, Jennifer, I ate a bowl. It's like his response to her.
So you already had a little tasty taste. Ugh.
It does look like mouse droppings, but okay, go ahead.
Okay.
Tell there's more.
So somebody tweets him, says, hey, I study crustaceans at the Natural History Museum in LA. Those do look a bit like shrimp's telson and uropod's tail. I would totally love to look at your specimen under a microscope. We might even be able to extract DNA to confirm its species or if it's indeed a cinnamon sugar. So he takes this person up. He went down to go get it tested today. I still haven't heard back, but there's more. So... Okay, here we go. Oh, then so this went fucking viral on Twitter to the point where TMZ picked it up, and all of a sudden it ends up on the New York Times. They do a fucking interview with this guy. You start seeing memes like this flooding the internet.
Cinnamon toast shrimp now with more rope.
Well, the thing is, you can tell they've been ate. It's not like they're
oh, jeez. Now I don't ever want to eat cereal again. Fuck.
So, and right in line with that, John Mark, Cinnamon Toast Crunch is forced to tweet an official statement that says, while we're still investigating this matter, we can say with confidence that this did not occur at our facility. We are waiting for the customer to send us the package to investigate further. Any consumers who notice the cereal box or bag that has been tampered with, such as clear tape that was found in this case, should contact us. He goes on to
Kind of more gaslighting.
He opened up, it was a double pack, and he went to go open the double pack, and the second package had been taped shut from the bottom, and it was a lot more of the same. So it looked like it had been tampered with, so that's what they're referring to here. So the Cinnamon Toast Crunch says, we'd like you to mail us the stuff over a fucking tweet, and then says we're waiting for the customer to send us a package. He's like, I'm not fucking mailing you. You know what? He's like, I'm not just going to mail you this. So they email him and they say, Dear Mr. Carp, thank you for getting back to us. If you're unwilling to send the items in serial packaging to us, please provide these items to your local law enforcement. This may be product tampering, and we need the opportunity to investigate the packaging. Sincerely, Maria Ortiz, social media specialist. So it's not even like, it's still the poor fucking person running their social media.
Right.
So this is an official email to him, and his response is this. Okay, the police you want to involve for your investigation can call me at the number I initially sent you by contacting me excuse me. I'm not walking into a random police station yelling, here's the shrimp tails that General Mills wants, like it's a smoking gun from a murder.
Getting the drunk takes. Huh?
He says a couple more things. You guys are a mess of a company right now. So he does the interview with the New York Times, and my favorite quote is, I'm not considering legal action. Obviously, if I ate rat poop, we're going to have to readdress that.
Sure. Good.
I love how the new advertisement at the top says now with more rope.
Yeah. Anyways, that's pretty much the gist of that story that I've been able to get at this point. But it's pretty fun.
Unbelievable. So it sounds like this was tampered with. But what are they saying? Like it was tampered with, not at the facility. But where would it have been tampered with?
The only thing I could think of is if they
in storage,
store it and ship it someplace, and maybe somebody got in. I don't know, man. It could have been
because the notion of it, if anything had happened, like someone said, mice could have got in the raw flour. If any of this was at the raw stage, it would have been ground up and processed. I mean, the funny thing is, we eat shit like this all the time, but it's ground up and processed, and we don't know.
The FDA even has like an acceptable like bug to food ratio or something like that.
It's quite high.
But but this looks. I mean, it looks post production, right? It looks. Yeah. Well, I don't know. Some of it looks baked in.
It's in the the cookie, whatever you call it, the cereal piece. It's in it.
Yeah. So I don't know. I just don't know. I'm dying to know. I know he agreed to send them part of the stuff. He's like, I'm not sending you all of it. He's like, I'll send you some of it. He's like, I'm not. And some other, so they're sending like a courier to his house today to get it. Yeah. He's been tweeting this the whole time.
Yeah, because they've proved that they're gaslighting. He wouldn't want them to say, oh, they sent it back and we looked at it and it's fine. Or it never came or whatever, Crazy. That's a crazy one.
It's nuts. Yeah, it's pretty good. Okay, I got a little bit more before we get to your soup du jour. I hope you don't mind. I'm writing a wonderful Shocky Matt High, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see here. I got to talk what you watching for a sec, guys. Okay. We got to talk what you watch. It's been a bit. It's been a few weeks. I've had a lot of time at home with
a lot of time to watch, huh?
WandaVision. Did anyone finish WandaVision?
Never even started it.
No.
John Mark? I loved WandaVision.
Yeah, I finished. I finished. Yeah, I finished it.
What'd you think?
Yeah.
What'd you think? Spoiler free.
Spoiler free. I enjoy it. I liked it. I could see how people that were super into superhero stuff would have kind of bounced off it at first, or people who didn't really understand what they were getting into might have bounced off it. But
yeah,
I wasn't really super familiar with the characters. Like I kind of knew, like I was like, oh yeah, I saw those in some of the Avengers movies and stuff. But it was good. I liked it. Yep.
When I finished that show, I had a really distinct feeling that Disney Plus is reinventing streaming TV the way Netflix did. The quality of that show was just unfucking believable. And we're so used to a dump of stuff we can just binge in a weekend. I see the genius behind releasing one episode a week because I think about it all week. Yeah. It's a 2-month stretch where I'm really into something, and it gives us time to create these wild fan theories that usually don't pan out, but it's unbelievable. I don't know. It's a really high quality show. I think Ron, you in particular would enjoy some of that for just some of the things you enjoy.
Yeah, I know nothing about it, but the aesthetic. I've seen a few like snapshots or something. The aesthetic obviously speaks my language. But yeah, I'd never heard of that. Is this a new franchise or is it just a more obscure comic?
She's a character from the MCU. So they announced, and then after the last big Marvel flick, the Avengers Endgame, that their next phase was going to include a bunch of Disney Plus TV shows. And with the characters you love, but maybe not Iron Man, maybe not Captain America, but we got the Scarlet Witch over here, and she's got a really cool story to tell. Mm-hmm. And they do it in such a fucking way. Like the first 3 episodes, I mean, every episode almost is filmed entirely almost in a format that is like the first one is clearly Dick Van Dyke. Like you're watching an episode of Dick Van Dyke and you're inside of that. And then one is like the Brady Bunch. And then there's one that was Modern Family or Malcolm in the Middle. And it was like, holy shit, this is Malcolm in the Middle. Like it's wild.
And so is it legitimately using those franchises? Or is it just like lookalikes?
It's they incorporate it, so it's all shot in the format. So it's like you get the wacky intro, but it's all the characters from this show and not Malcolm in the Middle.
Fair.
Yeah.
So and it's
check
neat.
it out.
So,
and you don't have to know all the other 57.
No, they kind of give you they give you what you need to know. It's a self-contained story about grief. Really, it's really it's good, and so worth watching.
Right. You can tell that the homages are like homages, and it's like, oh, this is supposed to make you reminisce about this.
Yeah, I'm usually balls deep into that sort of thing.
Yeah, and it's like this is somebody who is imagining this or grew up on this, or you know what I mean. It's like you can tell it's something different. It really reminded me of Legion in a way. Did any of you guys watch Legion yet?
No, it's on my list.
Come on, you guys, get with the fucking program.
Okay, we need a priority list from you, John Mark, because while all your recommendations are solid, I just don't got the time, man. I gotta pick and choose.
Let me tell you something. With your shall we say lifestyle?
Oh yes.
Legion is gonna blow your fucking mind, dude.
All right, okay.
It's gonna blow your fucking mind.
It's got Aubrey Plaza in it
it's a
too,
lot
right?
of roller skating. Is that what you're saying? I mean, where's Christopher's lifestyle pulled into this?
That's exactly what I'm saying. And there is a definite plot to it, right? And there is an and it's actually part of the MCU in a way, but it's not. Like it's one of those shows that was developed outside of whatever production companies do all that stuff, but it Legion is one of the X-Men, or it was at one time anyways. And but like the show, when you first start watching it, you don't get that vibe like, oh, this is a superhero show or this is a comic show. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, if you didn't know that going in, you wouldn't really know that until kind of later on. And even then it's still kind of nebulous, right? But just it's done so well that even if you don't like, there's 3 seasons of it and you can find it. It's all on Hulu right now. And it's so well done that even when you're watching it going like, what the fuck is happening? Like everything about it, like the art direction, the lighting, the soundtrack, the costumes, just everything about it, you're just so enthralled with what you're seeing and experiencing that like it doesn't really matter if you can't follow exactly what's happening, because you're just like, what the fuck did I just watch? That was fucking great. I have no idea what's happening.
Okay. I'll fucking watch it, man. I will.
I bet I won't, but I'm looking forward to seeing what Chris says about it.
I got one
You need to watch it, Ron. You need to watch it.
I would like to say that I have more time than probably all of you, unfortunately, just because of dialysis. I sit there and for the first year, I watched a lot of movies, and I could keep up, and but I just kind of fell off of both movies and TV shows, and maybe it's just because of so much time. It's like 4 hours. That I have to break it up and make it like a YouTube thing, like a 40. You're looking at about 15 minutes to 20 minutes to maybe 35 at the most. to keep me occupied, until I get bored of it. But I did. I came across, and I wanted to bring it up because I thought it was fascinating. I can't remember the name of the guy. Maybe it's Exploring with Josh. I don't know.
I saw that movie once too, Long. Explored all over.
Well, this is a guy.
Exploding with Josh.
This is, hey, you can put it any way you want. This solo guy, and he bought a ghost town for $1 million. And it's in California. It's called Sarah Gordo.
Does he just live there by himself now?
He does. And it's exactly what I would do if I wasn't sick. You know what I mean? The way he does his shit is exactly how I would film my stuff. I've been wanting to do film, and I wanted to inquire with drone work and stuff like that for years, and how to do it. And this guy does it exactly how I do it. And it's just like, I admire how he's doing his show.
That's cool.
So basically what he did is he raised up enough money to buy this it's a silver mine town. And the mines are all still there. They're still active. All the buildings and structures are all still there. What it is the town itself is built way up on this hillside, right? And what they had was these trams that used to come down all the way down to the second city, which was close to about 20 miles away. So these are all cable and bucket systems that span that whole entire way. And he bought the property, I think it's like, God, what is it? Almost 900 acres that he purchased, for $1 million. So all this area is his, and he's the only one up there. And he's basically going through all these little shacks that were there, these little ghost town shacks. Because the thing started like in the 1800s, or even 1700s, I think. It was the late end of the 17 and the early part of this 1800s. Carried on through until I think the last active time it was open was fairly recent, but it wasn't for silver anymore because a lot of the silver was already taken out. Just look up Cerro Gordo Ghost Town in YouTube, and it'll come up with the guy. Follow and watch his stuff. It's great, and just the way he documents everything. He ever pops up a new video or anything like that, I usually hound down and watch on it.
Mm-hmm.
If things you want to watch.
There's what Lyle's watching. Mm-hmm. Can't wait to hear what John, Mark, Christopher think about that one too. Well, anything, Chris? It sounded like you had one more.
Zack Snyder's Justice League, the Snyder Cut. Has anyone?
I have not.
John Mark, have you seen it? No, really. The overall reaction has been pretty solid, actually.
No, I haven't watched it yet. I'm curious, but I just haven't quite taken the plunge.
I'm embarrassed to say I've watched it almost twice. It's 4 hours long. It's very lengthy. It's divided up into, I think, 8 parts. So there's like a little, part 2, part 3. It's good. It makes that movie. I hated that movie, and I'm pretty easy to please. Like I like Batman versus Superman. I thought it was a really fun movie. I made me roll my eyes a few times and go, "Oh, good God!" But like, I did not like the Joss Whedon version of the Justice League, and I know we talked about it a few weeks back, right? Yeah. When it was coming out. So they don't get me wrong. It's still not a great movie, but it's good. Like it makes way more sense. The enemies that looked shitty look good. It's R-rated, so it's way more gory and gruesome as the superheroes fight. They fixed like there was no backstory on several of the characters. It just been removed. It was all re-added. So like it felt like watching almost a mini series. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because of its length. But it was good. The effects were good. I was really, when you go back and read the whole story about how his daughter, killed herself while they were almost done shooting and he had to step away, and what happened to like all the blood, sweat, and tears that he put into it. I can imagine how difficult that would be, on so many different levels. But I thought it was a good movie, man. If you have HBO and you like that shit and you saw Justice League, I would recommend giving it another spin at least.
Has Joss Whedon seen it?
I don't know. I'm dying to know though.
Yeah.
I did not see the original. I will watch this one though, just because. Okay. Well, I didn't see the original because I'm really not that into superhero movies anymore.
Mm-hmm. Me either.
I'll watch them. If there's not, I'm like, okay, I'll watch the Avengers. I'll watch this. I'll watch, just to kind of like keep up with the zeitgeist, I guess.
Sure.
But just like I was never into Marvel comics or DC comics except for what was that other offshoot? Ron, you probably know.
Image?
No, not the stuff, the DC stuff that was like Preacher and Hellblazer. You know what I'm talking about? I've just never been
Vertigo.
into Vertigo. Yes, I was into the Vertigo stuff, and I've just never been into. You guys want to hear a dog drinking?
I heard him whining back there. I'm thirsty. Well, I got water.
I've just never been into like the superhero stuff. I was always up into like other shit, you know?
Yeah.
So when all these movies started coming out, I was like, okay, that's kind of cool. But they just like, there's so many of them now. And it's just like,
they oversaturated everything.
CGI stuff. It's like, and I'm just not super into CGI. I prefer practical effects.
Well, it's just so overwhelming now. If you get behind,
and the DC movies never really like. Wonder Woman was pretty good, I have to say. But other than that, just like I haven't really seen any. Oh, Shazam was pretty funny, but that's like kind of like a whole thing to itself.
It was different, but it was good. That was surprisingly good.
And well, that kind of brings me to my point. Is like I like the things that are different, right? Like Deadpool, the Deadpool movies were a little different, you know. Mm-hmm. And that's the kind of stuff that I like. I did. I liked Logan. I did like Logan. But for the whole, as a whole, I'm not like super into it. But and so I wasn't like, and I heard that the Justice League sucked, and I was like, I don't fucking care about Justice League. But then I heard about the Zack Snyder cut, and I was like, well, I liked 300, you know. And what's the other movie he did with all the women in the asylum kind of
Baby doll? No, well, there's a Sucker Punch.
Sucker Punch, yeah. It's like that movie had real potential to me, but then I saw it and I was like, But some of the visuals in that, some of the stuff they did was like, well, that's really fucking cool.
For sure.
But as a movie as a whole, it was like, whatever. So I admire some of the things that he does as a director. But I was like, well, I just don't know, like, how can he take something like that and make it better, you know? But so like the sort of buzz I've heard around this release, I've been like, I kind of want to check that out just to kind of see what's going on with that, you know? So I will definitely check it out for sure.
That Sucker Punch kind of came out like right at the tail end of when Sin City turned out, and it was like fucking wow, dude. Everybody was just jaw on the ground just on how they did their special effects, and they weren't super impressive. They were different, and they were just enough to clinch that whole niche, you know, and then bring it up a little bit. And that's how I like Sucker Punch, because it just kind of came off the tail end of that, you know, where it was like, that was pretty cool. I like that.
There was some cool fucking set pieces in that film, but like as a whole movie, I was just like, I don't know. So I didn't really know, like, well, what's Zack Snyder about? Is he about like a cool few set pieces here or there? Or is he just, you know, I don't
know. All right. So this is something that I've wanted to talk about on the show for quite a while, but every time I delved into it, I wasn't sure which avenue to follow, and there wasn't a lot of meat to any particular road that I went down, which is just, I guess, kind of a pun. But I want to talk about the dark web, the deep web and the dark web. And, you know, we've all heard stories about the dark web, some of them true, but this is particularly going to be focused on one really intriguing, by far the most famous story about the dark web that I think a lot of people may not be savvy to. But first off, I think a lot of people are surprised to find out that the internet, as we know it, only makes up about 5% of the entire web. So like Netflix, Facebook, Pornhub, iCarly.com, anything that comes up
the same for you sometimes. Huh?
One-stop shop. One bloody bookmark. Essentially anything that could come up in a Google search is considered, it's all part of this tiny slice of the internet pie that they call the surface web. So the other 90 to 95% is known as the deep web. And as intriguing as that sounds, most of what makes up the deep web is simply the unindexed parts of the internet. This could be...
What's that sound?
Yeah, what is that? Liquidy?
Get.
Didn't we already take our pee break?
It sounded like little critter legs running around. Nope.
Am I not muted?
Nope.
Nope.
No stuff.
What?
It's all right.
Oh.
So most of what makes up the deep web is just the unindexed parts of the internet. Things like banking information, data systems, databases, email servers, password protected accounts, and connective information, along with the gazillions of random files and folders
Like
and
photos and
images.
videos, all of our, right?
What's that?
Like all of our iCloud photos and videos. Is that part of this too?
Seriously, trillions and trillions of photos. Well, anything that's there on the surface web is not included in this. But if you've got like private photos, something that is just set in a subfolder from the indexed, searchable, and seeable through Google internet basically counts as the deep web for the most part. So yeah, all those images that you've uploaded and all your blogs that you quit working on 3 months into it, all of that stuff is still being stored even if those websites aren't published. Tons of that sort of stuff. So it's mostly just junk or uninteresting data from one thing or another. But within that massive space is a smaller, more shadowy area of the deep web that is used for other purposes. And that area is known as the dark web. And as the name implies, shit gets dark here, at least kind of. So the stories that most of us hear, like I mentioned, of the dark web are that, it's a place where bad people go to do bad things or find people doing bad things like human trafficking, illegal gun commerce, big discussions about that going on right now, of course, child porn rings, drug dealers, prostitution rings. And all of those things are definitely going on in the dark web, but nowhere near the level that they are on the surface web. There's way more of that going on just the regular web. So I was curious why so many entities portray this as such a scary place. And in short, it's because the powers that be, police, governments, militaries, and corporations, they don't really have much power there, at least not nearly the flex that they've become accustomed to up on the surface. Which is
I'd like to think that most people don't have the intelligence to even figure out how to even get get there. You know what I mean?
The inability for these powers that be that I was mentioning to not really be able to negotiate, because they figured out how to work the system on the level. They have not really figured out how to negotiate through the overwhelmingly anonymous activities that go on in the dark web. Now, in the age of being tracked by every website we visit, of course, every email we send, every Google search, which always is something to think about, and of course, everywhere we go throughout our entire day, when we carry our phone with us, that notion of privacy is almost an abstract novelty of nostalgic thinking. And of course, it's taken several slippery slopes to get where we are now. We say all the time, 20 years ago, we'd be throwing a shit fit at the idea of allowing anybody free access to all of those things. But now it's a daily occurrence. Those terms of agreement that you've agreed to in all 200 apps you've ever downloaded without reading. Nobody reads them, of course. Most of these terms of agreement contain some variation of, you give us permission to access your camera, your images, your videos, your social media accounts, your microphone, anytime we want, dummy. But enjoy seeing what you're going to look like as a walrus in 100 years, or whatever app you've downloaded to sell your soul, including, by the way, a high definition
app I've ever got is that walrus, walrusme.com.
That's the truest
Yo,
thing,
I look
too.
hilarious as an old ass walrus. Share to Facebook.
Even your awesome art that you
Why do you
do.
need my social security number? Okay, whatever.
They got to know how well to do this, old walrus is. Go ahead, Lau.
Well, I was saying, even with your awesome art and stuff that you post on Facebook, guess what? It's not yours anymore. It's Facebook's. It's same as being a photographer. You got to be very skilled on how you post your shit.
You definitely have given them permission to use it in advertising, how they see fit. Mm-hmm. One of many things we have sold to Facebook.
I've seen friends of mine on ads like that. Friends from here, that I know that are really close. I had to call her up and said, "Listen, I found this. Is this legit? She's like, I never gave him permission to use my photo. It's
But
one
you
of her
did.
profile photos, yeah.
But you did. Yeah, she just didn't know it. But well, this is life on the surface web. This is life on the surface. But a growing number of people around the globe are gravitating toward hiding all their information from these information voyeurs, as they call them, who are more likely to sell your data to corporations than, they are to watch you poop. But again, they could if they wanted to, because you told them that they could. You told them that they can access your camera and your microphone anytime they want. You can't tell me that some people aren't out there utilizing that just to watch us poop. But they're definitely using it to sell our shit. But you agreed to it. There's no recourse. You have agreed to it. And privacy, and it's really privacy activists / enthusiasts, I suppose. To them, it's almost more about the principle of privacy than the particulars of where that data is even going and how it's being used. But there's often a knee-jerk reaction. I've seen these conversations online and in person. Somebody will say, well, what do they have to hide? I'm not breaking the law, so what do I care if the government snoops on me? And the problems with that kind of thinking are many, but suffice to say, some folks are just adamant about simply living in a more private manner on principle than our modern society is getting used to. And many of these people have found a safe or safe-ish harbor in the murky waters of the dark web. Now, since every story, essay, and documentary and podcast I did a lot of research for this one, everything I came across, they gave this little disclaimer. So I suppose I will say it too. Don't go looking around in the deep web. You genuinely may see things that you don't want to see. And as Lyle alluded to, it's not as easy as just like surfing the web. It's getting easier once you know what you're doing. But it's also, you just might end up on a list or two that you.
I was just wondering, what are you on now?
Oh, I've sold my soul to some authority at some point. Just the research I've done. Well, we all have for this show. I mean, research that we've done, get out of the city. But I've never gone on to the dark web or the deep web, and I don't recommend it. There are plenty of people out there who have, and they have shared their experiences, and I'm going to share their experiences. But that said, you need to know how this works. It's all part of the story. And since you can't get to the deep web with your normal browser searches, what you do is you access it through, primarily, there are other ways, but primarily people are accessing it through what's called the onion router, or Tor. Now, here is Wikipedia's summary and what the onion router is. In an onion network, messages are encapsulated in layers of encryption, analogous to layers of an onion. The encrypted data is transmitted through a series of network nodes called onion routers, each of which peels away a single layer, uncovering the data's next destination. So it's not new technology. And what's funny is that this technology was actually developed by the military. It is a way of just not being traced. It's the old joke where, if you're using a VPN or something, is a type of this where if you send an email to somebody and they try to figure out where you're at, it could look like you sent it from Iraq, even though you sent it from East Wenatchee, because it pinged here, then to Hawaii, then it pinged to your neighbor, and then to Canada, and then it ended on some server in Iraq. And it's pointless to go looking. But essentially, it's just a type of browser that can be used specifically for the dark web, if that makes it, or the deep web, easier to understand. So the question is, what actually goes on there? Well, all the seedy things that I mentioned before do go on there to some degree, but there's also a bustling anti-Big Brother movement that's been growing like a mold in the darkness in these forums and news groups, much like the surface web. A collective of like-minded people from all over the world networking with a specific aim to spread awareness of privacy violations, pushing for radical political changes, and essentially building their own version of the internet away from the prying eyes and regulations of the man. including the idea of a truly free and anonymous commerce system. Thus, in 2011, a mysterious marketplace appeared from the shadows of the dark web, offering every kind of drug imaginable, free shipping. And you didn't need to be no prime necessary. And this marketplace was called the Silk Road. Now, heroin, crack, LSD, Molly, cocaine, all right alongside every prescription narcotics you can imagine. Some guns and other miscellaneous goods like fake IDs to be had there as well. Now, things that were not allowed in this particular market were stolen items. You couldn't arrange anything to harm somebody specifically, like no kidnapping arrangements, no hired to kill tomfoolery. More on that in a bit. But of course, the trick with this is staying hidden whilst shopping in the Amazon of the underworld. Enter Bitcoin. It really took the development of cryptocurrency to make something like the Silk Road even feasible. And while Bitcoin transactions aren't inherently anonymous, with just a little bit of tech wizardry, they can be pretty incredibly hard to trace. And so this market grew exponentially in just a few short months. And shoppers, they set up a whole system. Shoppers could browse the products and read through different sellers and buyers through the feedback left by other customers in a completely peer-based review system, which is amazing for something in the criminal world. There were no advertised or sponsored corporate reviews that you see in so many of the surface level stores. A lot of people aren't aware that that's even a thing, but it's a thing. And this is unheard of in the black market, where accountability and reliability of service was like laughable to even inquire about. Do I get a guarantee? Can you imagine saying that to a fucking drug dealer? Like, I guarantee I'll shoot your dick off if you don't fucking scram. But all of a sudden you had, not only were you not doing this in some shady back alley where shit can go wrong, or, go into some dude's house and getting the shit, you were sort of safely and anonymously ordering this stuff from who knows where, and it would arrive in, they would use whatever merchandise made sense. A lot of DVDs that would come shrink wrapped or completely vacuum sealed so that the dog sniffers couldn't sniff it. Dog sniffers, you know what I mean? And in fact, one lady,
I know what you mean.
There was one lady that noticed that her 16-year-old son was really antsy about the Daily Mail, and she was like, what fucking 16-year-old kid is like pacing waiting for the mail? So she went out and beat him to the mailbox, and there was like a DVD of cartoons. She cracked it open, and inside was like some rocks of crack cocaine or meth or something. She was like, what the fuck? And it came in like a
jackpot.
Yeah, came in like a Looney Tunes DVD. And that got a lot of people's attention, including some people that I'm going to be talking about in a bit. But this place got the attention of the FBI right away. They were infiltrating the site right away. And they got some pretty good accounts set up where they became trusted buyers, and in a couple of places, sellers, which is something to think about, that the government may have actually sold people drugs just so they could get, in like Flynn with this website. Now, while they initially struggled to find deeper access to the servers of the site, but they did manage during this interim to set up several fake accounts, and they discovered that the operation itself was run by someone using the moniker, the Dread Pirate Roberts. Inconceivable! That name represented more than just a fondness for the Princess Bride, but again, more on that in a bit. And trust me, this is an incredibly truncated version of the story, to say the least. But after Gawker posted a now famous expose on the Silk Road in 2011, that underground site became flooded with curious, I guess, Gawkers and serious customers alike. But it also got the attention of a U.S. senator named Charles Schumer, who went straight to work on assembling a task force of top men, if you will, to shut the whole thing down. Now, one of these top cops assigned to cracking the Silk Road code was FBI cybercrimes agent Christopher Tarbell. Now, at some point, Tarbell managed his way into some super dark, decrety places, decrety, of the site server. Like, he got into the servers. And after a couple years of trying, the Silk Road was actually shut down and the Dread Pirate Roberts was captured. And as to who he was, it was nobody most folks had really expected, including law enforcement. But before we get to that, it's interesting to look at the way this takedown happened, because it in and of itself is complex and confusing. And the feds, they used one of these accounts to message Roberts, complaining that the order limits of the site were too small for his liking. He wanted to make bigger deals, and things were going pretty well. And the Dread Pirate Roberts was probably getting a little comfortable, maybe a little cocky. So this led to him reaching out to one of his trusted Silk Road associates, a guy with the username Chronic Pain, to work out an agreeable deal with this seller, the supplier. And Chronic Pain ended up giving this agent in disguise his actual home address for shipping for the deal that he worked out with him. And you can guess what happens next. So Chronic Pain ended up being Curtis Green, a middle-aged family man living in Salt Lake City, Utah. And he also happened to be one of the very original administrators for the Silk Road. So this was like a wet dream catch for the cops. But as to how the agents managed their way into the actual servers of the Silk Road, Agent Tarbell claimed that he was at one of those CAPTCHA gateways on the site, the things where you have to try to decipher words that look like they were scrawled out while someone was having a stroke to prove that you're not a robot. Those things get harder and harder to read, but that's a CAPTCHA. So he claims that he was about to enter the CAPTCHA to get onto the next screen when the CAPTCHA script itself glitched out, providing him access to the server. That was his story. And soon after that, visitors to the Silk Road were greeted with a very disappointing and probably alarming graphic that said this hidden site has been seized, along with all the usual badges and emblems of the organizations that shut it down. Now, upon hearing the arrest of Chronic Pain, aka Green, one of the agents pretending to be a Silk Road supplier had reached out to Dread Pirate Roberts with concerns, playing the part still. And eventually that conversation became Roberts asking the agent to help facilitate Green sleeping with the Salt Lake fishes before he could spill the beans about the site, if you get my meaning. So now we had evidence, quote unquote, that Dread Pirate Roberts put out a hit order on Chronic Pain, and those charges were added to the growing list, stacking up against Roberts. And about that same time, an IRS agent, of all people, had found an old email that was tied to the earliest incarnation of the Silk Road. It was tied to a man living in San Francisco. And the police intercepted a package that was en route to this guy that was filled with a bunch of fake IDs, all bearing his likeness. So the cops actually approached him about the fake IDs, but then they didn't really do anything about it. They just wanted to get a feel for him, meet the guy, see his room, that sort of thing, just kind of putting their toe in the waters. And they went away. No charges filed. But they started watching him. They watched his every move. And, soon enough that paid off. They'd been watching activity on the site and correlating it with what this suspect was up to. And in October of 2013, that guy walked into a library in San Francisco, fired up his laptop, and administrative activity started pinging on the Silk Road servers. So they're like, bingo, we got ourselves the Dread Pirate Roberts. So the 5-0 moved in and arrested him, and his laptop was still logged in to the site, granting the authorities a whole buttload of names and evidence to help build their headline-making case.
That's great.
So as it turns out, the famous Dread Pirate Roberts was 29-year-old Ross Ulbricht, a completely unassuming young man who grew up in Austin, Texas, raised in a seemingly loving and normal, close-knit family. He was an Eagle Scout as a youngster, really smart guy. After graduating high school, he moved on to studying science and physics at the University of Texas at Dallas. And he, a few more years of schooling, all on a full academic scholarship. But at some point, he began to lose interest in the sciencey shit, and he delved more into libertarian ideals and politics. He started following a couple of people that were inspiring him to, in part of this was that anti-authoritarian and the lack of privacy. You know, those were, I guess, a bit, I don't know too much about libertarianism, and it seems like it's gotten sort of bastardized, like everything does, into whatever people are trying to take away from it, as opposed to one cohesive movement. But he was following some classic libertarian ideals, and that became a passion. Now, he tried to set up a few small businesses that just didn't take, and so he decided to just put his passions to work in something next level. In his words, something that would, quote, create an economic simulation to give people a first-hand experience of what it would be like to live in a world without the systemic use of force. And the Silk Road was born. And by the time trial was underway, the official charges against Albrecht were money laundering, conspiracy to commit computer hacking, and conspiracy to traffic narcotics at such a level that they tacked on a kingpin charge. And this is key because that tack on prevented him from having any access to the media before, during, or even after the trial. That's just one of those rules. Now, noticeably absent from the charges was the attempted hit on not only Chronic Pain, but there are a few other members that apparently money, Bitcoin had been paid. Faked photos, the feds faked murder photos showing Dread Pirate Roberts that the deed had been done. It had gone that far, and yet no charges were brought. This is puzzling, since the prosecution and politicians alike had explicitly pointed to this element publicly this whole time leading up to the trial as one of the reasons that the feds moved in on Albrecht in the first place. But he was found guilty on all the other aforementioned charges and sentenced to an unheard of 2 life sentences plus an additional 40 years without the possibility of parole.
Holy shit.
Just something to think about when you consider that the average child rapist does something like 6 to 12 years. So it was more than clear that the powers that be, the ones that were so threatened by this sector of the web in the first place, were absolutely making the mother of all examples out of this case. And, the defense claims were an amalgam of police corruption and overstepping of legal procedures on their part, along with some pretty interesting provable facts, like there were indeed several Dread Pirate Robertses associated with the site. And, remember, going back to the interesting part about that name, in the movie The Princess Bride, how Wesley, I guess spoilers, became the Dread Pirate Roberts, but he wasn't the original Dread Pirate Roberts, and there were many. The original at that point had been long since retired, and allegedly this was the real reason for choosing that handle. So who knows? Maybe it was one of these other Dreads who ordered the hit, which ultimately never happened, of course. Maybe the feds created that whole part of the plot to gain access to Albrecht, and maybe that was part of their plan to skewer him concerning public opinion, only to dismiss all of those murder charges later. It's an interesting thing. This is a strange case, and a lot of people don't feel right about it. Now, interestingly, at the trial, Albrecht did admit to being at one point in charge of the Silk Road, but he claimed that the original Dread Pirate Roberts had set him up to be the fall guy as it was becoming clear because the feds were moving in on the site. A weak defense maybe, but there are certainly many messages that were proven in court of some unknown administrator of the site essentially telling Roberts what to do, including, by the way, taking on the name the Dread Pirate Roberts. Now that was Albrecht being told to take on the Dread Pirate Roberts. So who was telling him what to do? It's convoluted, and that never really became clear. But the other thing was, a lot has been said about the seemingly weak story that Agent Tarbell told about a glitchy CAPTCHA that magically just showed him into the inner workings of the site. First of all, that just doesn't make any tech sense. You don't got to be too technologically smart to know that sounds weird.
Yeah.
But secondly, and more importantly, there was no trail of the investigation that proved that this was even what happened. And to this day, none of those agents, none of those agencies have ever had to explain in detail how they managed into those servers in a legal way at any major hearing. You know, hacking into it would have
Seems right. Yeah.
would have required very specific warrants that were never issued. Which leaves many people to wonder if Albrecht's Fourth Amendment rights had been violated, which would make his arrest and incarceration completely illegal. But ultimately, the powers that be have sided against Albrecht in every possible way. So we shall see. There's a lot of people looking into it saying this isn't right. There's a lot of not rightness here about the trial, about the investigation, about how they got access to that server. And the debate goes on. You know, the debate goes on as to whether our current, at this point, 40 years plus war on drugs is really a better option than the idea of a cohesive, organized black market for obtaining the things that people are going to obtain one way or the other from one entity or another. You know, the debate also goes on as to whether we should be allowed to gather and trade or sell goods of all types, free of interference and specific types of regulation. And it'll continue to go on as to whether or not we as a society give two single shits about the sanctity of privacy anymore, because it seems like we don't, you know. But the dark web goes on. This did little to kill the momentum of what was happening, because just a few months later, the Silk Road 2.0 popped up. It too was later shut down, but soon enough, multiple clones all over the dark web have popped up. Now, some had the same philosophy and some didn't. And news of Albrecht's bizarre case has captured the attention of law-minded activists and pop culture fanatics. And it's become a case that many attorneys, journalists, and celebrities have publicly weighed in on, often siding with Albrecht and the notion of a free market for illicit drug sales as a safer and smarter way of handling our planet's drug addictions. And it's something we're thinking about. You know, think about how many things didn't happen when you were ordering drugs online. You weren't meeting up with some shady characters in some creepy dark alley where things can and often go wrong. Same with doing some sort of home delivery. How many stories have we heard of drug deals gone bad? People weren't getting ripped off, which could also lead to more violence and bigger problems one way or the other, because there was this built-in network. If someone ripped you off, they weren't going to get away with it for long, because you'd have 500 people saying, yeah, fuck this guy, he rips you off. Conversely, this guy has 1,200 positive reviews, just like we use Amazon now. You do a little research like, okay, I can shop with confidence. There's something to think about there concerning the overall safety aspect. Not to mention, when you look back on 40 years of the war on drugs, how do we look? How do we look right now?
Not good.
And how much money are these agencies getting every year to continue the war on drugs? It's a big money-making operation for some of these agencies. They don't want that equipment. They don't want those perks to go away. The government has gets a lot of perks. There are a lot of people that are being fed cold hard cash due to the war on drugs, and it's something that a lot of people don't really think about. But however you feel about this, and I honestly don't know how I feel about it. I mull it over and I see pros and cons. But that's true of just about anything, I suppose. But yeah, I agree with Chris. I don't think it's going well. I don't think it has gone well. But we're the stay the course people. We're the stay the course country. Just keep on doing it. And as if it's the only possible conclusion, only possible solution. Of course, many people side with the government and the cops, seeing the Silk Road and the dark web itself as a place in dire need of being policed. to the point of seeking new legislation that would allow some major bending of that aforementioned Fourth Amendment, which is lawful seizures. And you can't just go breaking into things. You got to do things. You got to get warrants. You got to have probable cause. There's a trail that and you watch enough of these crime shows, if the cops don't follow those trails, no matter what, no matter how guilty the person is, it voids those charges. It voids all of that evidence that you got doing an illegal search goes out the window. So these are key things, and it looked like a lot of leeway was being taken in this investigation. So there will always be an underlying culture of people fighting for some sort of a free society or another, and a counter to that culture that doesn't believe that humans behave well enough under true freedom. And that's what I always go back to. It's like, we haven't always proven to really do well when we have more freedoms. It's a conundrum. We're a very complicated monkey, but this may be the end of Ulbricht's story, but with all of these people looking into it and with more evidence coming out that something isn't right here, and it being such an over the top, like that in and of itself, the sentence in and of itself might be something to set in motion some sort of appeal for Ulbricht, but we shall see. Now, just quickly to wrap up, some of the things that you can come across on the dark web are, apparently being able to order a hitman, like I mentioned earlier. Now, these sites have popped up a lot after this story broke. So you got to think that almost all of them, if not all of them, are scams. And this is the other thing about the dark web. There's no one there to protect you from getting your Bitcoin taken, and there's no refund, son. You give somebody $1 million worth of Bitcoins to do some serious shit, you're on your own. And so, of course, the dark web, another reason you want to be careful if you are going to go in there, and again, it's not recommended. Viruses work very differently there. Your usual browser is not going to be, ooh, we stopped a pop-up from happening. You got bigger problems in the dark web to watch out for. You click on the wrong thing and suddenly you got child porn on your computer, which again, all of that is on there. One thing I thought was interesting, there's some of these little shops and their menus would be like, for $500 you could hack into somebody's Facebook, somebody's specific Facebook. $500 you could hack into someone's Instagram. $2,000 to hack into a PayPal account. Again, all these could be scams. Here's the thing. We know that people out there can do this. So why wouldn't some of them find the dark web and make some money doing it? I'm sure this happens on the surface web too. Now, something a little closer to home, organs of all types can be purchased on the dark web. You're kind of on your own once again as to the quality. You got to rely on the, getting the right blood type. Pretty scattershot getting yourself a body part on the dark web, but it is something that I guess if you're desperate enough to do, it's worth a shot. I hate to think about how and where those organs are harvested, but who knows? Tons of black market things like Nikes and alcohol and tobacco, pretty mundane everyday things, but items that are probably hijacked off of trains and semi trucks, stored into some storage trailer in fucking Omaha or London, and someone just is sitting on a bunch and they'll sell them for cheap because they got to get rid of them. This stuff pops up all the time on the dark web. One very famous item from the dark web that made headlines was one of the world's first 3D printable handgun. And I think it got well over 1 million downloads. The plans to, once you have the right 3D printer and the right materials, anyone could print their own handgun. That was a big game changer in the world in general. Print your own handguns and the world will never be the same. But one thing that I thought was interesting that goes on, not necessarily in the dark web, but certainly the deep web, that is, I suppose, on the level, more legitimate, more useful is a lot of journalists will use it as a way to communicate with people in countries that can't get on the internet. They can't get on Google, not just North Korea. There are tons of places all over the planet and tons of facilities all over the planet where they can't access the known web. But every watchdog thing that the powers that be are using to keep tabs on what their people are watching, it doesn't see the types of software and the types of sites that exist in the deep web. So it's a way to fly literally under the radar. And so a lot of journalists will interview people, or they'll some people have been, there's been a lot of interesting uses for like these underground railroad type scenarios where people are trying to do good or just get out information into the modern world, into the free world, I should say, without getting caught. And it's a very, very dangerous thing that a lot of these people are doing. So there you have it. The dark web itself, again, is just sort of a shady amalgam of everything that is available up on the surface. And the deep web is just a whole bunch of random shit. But a whole world is blossoming in the dark web that a lot of people don't know about. And it's a place where true revolution could be brewing without the authorities having any fucking power to do anything about it for now. So that's all I got.
It's a lot to take in. I have not done a lot of research on this or know much about it, so I'm trying to wrap my brain around it, and it is alarming.
It is a lot to take in. There's a documentary. It's mostly about the story that I just told. It's by Alex Winter, who is Ted. Or is it Bill?
I was just gonna say that's Ted.
It's Bill or Ted?
No, it's Bill.
I get him confused. Yeah, but what's cool about it is it's narrated by Keanu. So it's a Bill and Ted documentary on the dark web. It's mostly about the Silk Road, and it gets into this trial. Now, it's definitely sympathetic to Albrecht. There are some podcasts and documentaries I saw out there that weren't nearly as well done or interesting or informative that painted more of a picture of somebody like it's possible and maybe even likely that Albrecht was somebody who was just kind of like, maybe he started out with good intentions, or at least different intentions, define good. And then maybe he was corrupted as the money started rolling in. This site was making millions and millions of dollars. So it didn't last that long, but it changed the whole fucking world. And who knows how it could influence where we go from here. Oregon State just passed something, I don't know the exact law or rules, but they're not going after hard drugs like they once were, at least at lower quantities. And if you're not taking it or on it while you're driving, I don't know what the rule is, but they're looking the other way and that's Oregon. So who knows how that's going to spread.
It's having the drugs on you. I guess apparently Washington's adopted that too. I was talking to someone that works in the court system and said that it's kind of happened too. So like if you get caught with charges of heroin, like say you had I don't know what the weight of heroin is, but like say you have a bag of heroin right now and I get like caught across town, they can't, it's kind of more, it's like arrestable offense. They'll just charge you with a court date and then just pay it off in fines and like whatever. They just don't lock you up for it anymore.
I think it's time to start rethinking this war on drugs. I think it's way past time. We have set up such an insane system, and it seems to be working out pretty well for the drug lords. It seems to be going well for the cartels, and it seems to be going well for a lot of politicians and a lot of agencies and law enforcement.
Did we not learn anything from Prohibition? Like, this is the same fucking thing. It's like total horseshit. The war on drugs is fucking total horseshit.
Well, it sounds like maybe we are learning. I don't know how the thing in Oregon came to be. It just all of a sudden it was there, and everyone was like, "Wait, what?" And so who knows? Maybe Albrecht was onto something, and 10 years down the road, looking back on the Silk Road, is going to be like, "Yeah, he was a pioneer. He saw the fucking future, and we saw the future, whether we wanted to accept it or not." In that, you push people. We did it with pot. We took pot out of, there are still illegal pot sales, but not at the level that there once was. And now you can go to a store and buy pot. You don't have to risk
Praise
meeting
Jesus.
with some shady people. It was crazy back in the 90s, especially in towns like this. Back in the early 90s, if you wanted to find pot and your pot guy wasn't around, you had to go to some shady fucking places and hope for the best. That world is gone now, and that's pot. Think about meth and cocaine and heroin and some of these big time businesses, you know.
Yeah, a lot of it's party drugs too.
Oh yeah, that was Molly and what is it, ED, or is EDM Molly? What ecstasy? I think were one of the biggest drugs purchased over the Silk Road.
Yeah.
So,
I was going to say, for me personally, I mean, if I were addicted, I think one of the best things to do would be to arrest me and put me in jail, just to get me away from the drugs. You know what I mean? Because addiction's so fucking, horrible.
Yeah.
For me personally, I'm just saying this personally. I know a lot of people get upset and go, "Well, you should lock all the druggies are all locked up, and we should let them out." You know, it's like, for me personally, it's the only way I would be able to get clean. Unfortunately, and some people do. I mean, some people could go and, you know, not be thrown in jail
or you just find the supplier in jail and you keep using, which is what most people do, because jail's a joke. And that's another interesting point, you know, on however you feel about our jails being clogged and the legal system itself being clogged and grinding to a halt sometimes. It's all drug charges. There are people that are still in jail for pot related charges, even if they're in a state where pot is now legal. And, you know, I get some of the idea that they broke the law. They broke the law back then, but it's like, you know, we need to start being able to be capable of more abstract thought. Are we clever enough to logic our way through some of these things? And as far as like, it's a whole separate topic to talk about
the war on drugs. Yeah, but it goes all way back to, basically has racist fucking, it started with racist roots.
Well, it's about money for so many of these organizations. I highly recommend watching Deep Web. Watch Deep Web. It's you can rent it on Amazon. It may be streaming for free somewhere, but I just bought it and I watched it like 3 times. It was the bulk of my research for this. I did go to other resources because I knew that documentary was definitely sympathetic to the cause of Albrecht, but it's fascinating when you learn what's going on. And, you know, these aren't people that are saying crazy things to me. They're criminals, but when they point out what we are all doing with our lives concerning privacy and concerning regulations and the big brother aspect, where the authorities will never stop wanting more. And they're fighting to basically change our Constitution and our amendments, our rights, basically, so that they can have more power to do things like lie about filling in a CAPTCHA and then discovering the server. Because I'm sorry, that cop lied. You don't. Have you guys ever seen a CAPTCHA glitch out?
Yeah.
And if it glitches, does it open you into the backdoor server of that website? That's not even how websites are structured.
No, it's like a lock. It's like, so you have the key, which is the CAPTCHA that you put in there, and so that opens up the lock. That opens up the website, right?
But the website is 5 trees above the server, which is scrambled in the dark web. Yeah.
Unless he
found a warp pipe.
He found the doozy of a crash. Yeah, I ain't buying that one.
Lost track of where I was. I was going to say, like, you know, it's just a lock, so that once you get it open, obviously with the correct code, it opens up that particular web, you know, page you're looking for. It just
takes you to the next screen. Yeah.
Yeah.
So said it opened up a world. Yeah, I had one glitch, and it opened up a world of Jim Henson. I could walk through the labyrinth. That's as realistic as it sounds.
Yeah, when I do it, I usually get a blue screen. It says your Windows is crashed.
Don't we hate those blue screens? Well, you know what we don't hate? Some weird ass trivia. Who are we playing for this time?
All right. Thank you to everyone that has been commenting on our Facebook posts. That's been really fun interacting with you guys. We like it a ton. Congratulations again last week to Ben, who is in the next guaranteed championship. Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, John Mark will be playing for the beloved TJ. Ron,
Ooh, lucky TJ.
you're playing for the beloved Katie Sergeef. I'm not sure if it's Sergeef or Sergeef. I'm sure I've done this before. But she's beloved.
She sure geef is. Yeah, that was better in my head.
Oh, my. Yeah. Lyle, you're playing for Skilp Faltisco. Again,
Skilp.
I'm not sure if I'm saying that.
Well, I'm pretty sure it's Skip.
Did I say Skilp?
I think you did.
Oh, man.
I think your captcha crashed. We saw your server.
Yeah, you did. Beep boop.
I'm going to grab a beer
Lyle,
real
you're playing
quick.
for
It's, like, right next.
Skip Faltisco. Man, I am pumped for this round, too. I've got some doozies in here. You guys, too? Cool.
Okay. Hello?
Hi, we're all here. We're just being quiet.
Oh, sorry. My beer was further
Okay.
away than I thought.
John Mark, you better unmute because I'm going to ask you. Y'all ready for this? Nice. Okay. Fucking
Sound a little
great.
Flintstonesy.
Right. Question 1, guys. In an interview with Screen Rant some time ago, Sigourney Weaver was asked what her favorite Alien movie she made was. She gave a very thoughtful answer, but she was clear. What was her selection? Was it Alien, Aliens, Alien 3, or Alien Resurrection? Who won last week? John Mark did, so you're going to go first, buddy.
Oh man, I want to answer this by saying what I think the best Alien movie is, but
Yeah.
I don't know what.
There are a few schools of thought here.
I would have to say, fuck. Why don't I know this? Why haven't I read this?
Yeah, I'm curious to know what the answer is.
I want to say that she would have said Aliens,
Is that what you're going with?
the sequel to Alien. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
Ronster.
I'm leaning toward that too, because I think that she might. I mean, it was her time to shine in Alien, because the whole second half of that movie is basically her. Well, maybe not the second half, but a lot of that movie is all her. So she might think that was the selfish pick. Aliens, boy, Resurrection. I don't remember Resurrection much. Aliens.
Winona Ryder's in it. Ron Perlman.
Mm-hmm.
There's some really interesting people in it. It's not a great flick.
I just didn't
but
see it 10 times like I saw Aliens, you know?
Yeah.
Fanfic.
I think I'm going to go with Resurrection. I don't know why.
All right.
I'm gonna go with Resurrection also, just because I probably thought at that time maybe resurrected her career.
Oh, shit.
Not bad. What else was she doing at that time? That's a good point.
I don't know. That's why it's like it seems to me like
Seemed like she did mostly dramas and comedies. She's not really a big genre star for being. Am I right? Am I not thinking of a bunch of genre type movies like sci-fi and horror movies that she was in? Seems like she was mostly in dramas and comedies.
Yeah, I don't recall any like
Ghostbusters. Is that a genre? That's a genre.
Boy, that's a big one. That is a big one.
Ghostbusters. Was she in Ghostbusters
maybe
too?
I'm wrong.
Or no?
no.
I don't remember.
All we need is one more, and she's the queen of genre, and I'm completely wrong. All right.
Oh shit. Yeah. I'll work on it.
keep thinking about it. Okay. So John
What a
Mark went with
tangled
Aliens.
Sigourney she weavers.
Oh my. Oh my. All right, question 2. Disney's Pixar released a really great flick called Soul recently. It's about a high school music teacher who loves jazz and takes an unexpected journey to the afterlife. It's a beautiful movie with a wonderful score. Speaking of, who surprisingly scored this movie? I don't know if you guys have seen this flick. It's a good one. My kid loves it.
I've heard it. I've heard of it. I know the kids.
Who scored it? Was it A, Trent Reznor?
That was the first name that came to my mind, but he scores a lot of shit these days.
Was it B, Topher Grace?
Topher Grace. Is that the 70s show guy?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Was it C, Drake?
Hmm.
Or was it D, Childish Gambino, a.k.a. Donald Glover? John Mark.
Fuck, Wow, I have no fucking clue, man.
It's 2 for 2 with him, man.
Even when you have no clue, you always still win these games. I don't know how you do it. It's like, fuck, man, I don't know. Here's the right answer.
Well, Trent Reznor is a very eclectic composer.
Mm-hmm.
And he's, as we know, he's done a ton of scores. And that seems like a logical pick, but some of these other ones are just kind of throwing me for a loop because I'm like, wow, are they like scoring films? What the fuck? I'm gonna go with Childish Gambino.
Yeah.
Okay.
My train of thought is exactly like John Mark's. I feel like it could be Trent Reznor, but boy, Topher Grace is such an oddball. One from left field. I got to go with that. It's probably Trent, but I'm going with Toph. Let's do it, Toph. Oh, I can tell I already lost it. Sweet
do it, Toph.
Poker face,
okay.
bro.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with Trent Reznor. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Good call.
All right, I'm just making sure I got all your answers.
Trent was the dark herring in that question.
It was a dark herring.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he did The Social Network. Didn't he do a kids movie? I think
He did. They also did him and the other guy, Atticus Ross, did the soundtrack for the Watchmen series on HBO.
I have not. Wow, excuse me.
Holy shit!
I've been drinking beer for the first time in a while. Forget that.
No kidding.
There's nothing like a beer belt. I've not seen the Watchmen series.
Watch it, man.
Is it ongoing or is it wrapped up?
Oh no!
It's one season. It's one and done.
That's
great.
I find that appealing
a lot.
Yeah.
Fuck. Okay, here's the deal, guys. This next question is fucking great, but it's a bit long-winded, but I think interesting. So just bear with me because it's a listener submitted story, and I really, really enjoyed this one.
Oh, so this is a 2-pointer.
2-pointer. Big thanks to TJ again for sending me this one. It's a good one. Okay.
Ding, 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 ding.
2 points on the line here. An Alaskan woman had quite a scare earlier this year while on a backcountry trip with some friends. Now, after snowmobiling for 20 miles to get out to their destination, which was a yurt, they were staying in a yurt, she decided she needed to use the facilities. The facilities in question consisted of an outhouse, about 15, 20 yards away from the yurt. So here's what happens next from her own words. I got out there and sat down on the toilet, and immediately something bit my butt right as I sat down. I jumped up and I screamed when it happened. Her brother heard her screaming and went out to the outhouse, and he found her tending to her wound. They at first thought perhaps she'd been bitten by a squirrel or something that had nested up in the outhouse. But when her brother donned the headlamp and lifted the outhouse lid, this is what he saw. Was it A, massive 7-foot wasp nest?
Whoa. Yeah.
Yikes.
Was it B, a harbor seal?
Wow.
Was it C, a wolf?
This sounds like a dream.
Or was it D, a bear?
Robert.
What was in that outhouse that nipped or bit or stung her butt?
Yikes.
One of these.
Where did you say this was again?
Alaska.
Of course.
John Mark.
I'm gonna go with bear.
Oh my god, I love the way he fucking just stepped up to the plate. I'm fucking going with bear.
Yeah. Well, fucking Alaska. Alaska's kind of like Florida in some ways, where there's almost no story, especially involving animals, that I wouldn't believe. My first thought was bear too. I'm gonna go with the bear. You imagine sitting on a 7-footer wasp nest? I think that'd kill you. Oh, the wasp. Can wasp kill you? Can you go into
I saw my girl.
shock,
I've seen it.
getting stabbed from stop?
If you're
Good
allergic
Lord.
to them, yeah, they'll fuck you up.
Because is it everything that can sting you? Can you go into shock, or is that just like certain type of bees? Like, I'm confused by bees and wasps.
Well, it depends on your constitution too.
jellyfish.
Like some people, if you're allergic to it or not.
Oh yeah, I guess that's true. Okay. Well, yeah, I'm going bar.
Bar. Okay.
I'm torn.
Wow.
Holy cow! You're talking about honey. Now I got bees in my head. I have
Getting
no
bit in
idea
the
what's
ass by a bear or a wolf.
ass there. You know, hey,
What a story.
God damn. The thing is, if you haven't ever been to a house like a real one like that, you don't have the concept.
Yeah.
You know, if you've ever been to a concert and went to one of those little porta potties,
Yeah.
you don't have the concept of what a real one is. I
That's
mean,
a
you
good
look
point.
down
I bet a lot of
and-
people haven't.
bodies down there. You know, in a real one, if you go on you go down there and there could be like 10 bodies down there, and you wouldn't.
God.
You know what I mean? So it's like,
You remember
smells
that
the same.
famous story where that guy got in a hazmat suit and climbed into one out in a campground and watched all the little girls come poop and pee in the outhouse,
Yeah.
and he just sat there watching them.
getting off on it.
I have a good story about a open air outhouse I saw in Bangladesh once. I don't know if you guys want to hear it. It's pretty fucking gnarly.
Yeah, let's let Lyle answer, and we'll hear that story real quick.
Well, the thing is, I would think the bees would be alarmed to it. Like, you know, once you even open the door, they probably would be active and you'd be fucked.
Possibly.
Yeah,
Maybe
well,
it
you-
would take a turd to disturb their...
Well, you'd be hearing them. You'd be like, dude, taller than me.
Sure.
You would hear something like that.
You would think by
especially-
the time they could build a 7-foot nest, someone's had to have come in there and peed or pooped, but who knows? This is Alaska.
It'd be over kind of, a fucking wolf. Come on. Come on.
That might be the wolf herring.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And the bear seems more logical because bears are really fucking intelligent, but they're also very, very snoopy. They'll get into
Yeah, they
your
get into shit. It's true.
So I'm gonna go with the bear.
Fucking house game here. All
And
right.
it's gross to think about, but there could be enough, food remains in some of that excrement to attract a bear. Yeah.
Okay, guys. Question 4. The next Spike Lee joint might surprise some of you. It's been announced that the famous director's next movie will be a movie musical about the origins of this drug.
Huh.
He's going to make a musical about the origins of this drug. Is it A, weed? Green herring. Is it B,
They lie.
speed?
Mhm.
We've seen that. We've
Is it
seen.
C,
We already seen
cocaine?
Okay.
Or is it D, Viagra?
Somebody posted a really great meme that I think I just saw today. It was something to the tune of, in the 70s, there was a top 10 song called Cocaine. The chorus was cocaine. The song was about getting high and enjoying cocaine. But anyway, let's talk about what rap lyrics we're offended by today. That's pretty good. Cocaine. That's the chorus. Cocaine. Yeah.
Town cocaine.
John Mark.
All
what you
right,
feeling?
John Mark.
I don't know. I'm gonna go with cocaine. I think.
All right.
Fuck it.
Put you down for
Before
one
you
cocaine.
even started going through the answers, my thought was pot, because I thought, I wonder if he's doing some sort of like Reefer Madness musical.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be cool.
Which I think someone might have done that before. But I'm gonna go with Reefer. Yeah.
Yes.
No, the green
Yes,
hair.
Okay. All right, Lyle. What you got, baby?
Green herring. Spike Lee joint, baby.
Spike Lee joint. Well, joint. Spike Lee joint. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm gonna go with the pod, but like I really wanted to go with the other one.
What's the other one?
I'm trying to think now. I just fucking blanked it out.
Speed?
cocaine, or Viagra?
Oh, it's Viagra. I could see a whole sex thing going on with that. You know what I'm saying?
I
Like
think
a-
a
you're gonna-
musical about Viagra could be amazing.
Yeah, that's so like God, it's probably that one. But I'll go with the weed.
You're going with the weed.
Avoiding the blue herring and going with the green.
Yeah.
All right, let's go over the answers and see how you guys did here. In an interview with Screen Rant some time ago, Sigourney Weaver was asked what her favorite alien movie she made was. She gave a very thoughtful answer, and she was very clear that Aliens, the second one, was her favorite in the series. She just really liked the character arc. So that's a great fucking flick. Still holds up too. Okay, John Mark, right off the bat, you're taking a point, baby.
Shocker.
Ding 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 ding.
Shock. Okay.
And I can't pull ahead with the twofer because he went with my answer.
Question 2. Disney's Pixar released a really great flick called Soul recently. A really, really good one.
Topher Grace, come on, fingers crossed for Toph.
Unexpectedly, for me it was at least, Trent Reznor scored this movie.
All right.
And I was unaware that that was a common knowledge thing. I saw like an Uber fact thing pop up about it, and I was like, I had fucking no idea. And that was it was all about jazz and
yeah, he's an interesting
so Lyle
dude.
got that right.
And he's even more interesting, I think, in his old age. He's mellowed, and I always like listening to him talk. But yeah, I thought his soundtrack for The Social Network was perfect. Like I thought it kind of made the movie. Honestly, I thought the movie was fine, but I thought it was enhanced by his soundtrack.
I haven't seen that. I know that's something I need to put on my list too.
Surprises me.
Question 3. The listener submitted a question. An Alaskan woman had a scare. You want to?
Who's that?
Yeah.
Is someone talking to the doggy? Oh, is that your kid?
Talking to the doggy.
All right. An Alaskan woman had quite a scare when she was out with some friends staying at a yurt about 20 miles out of town. She went to go use the loo, in this case, a giant outhouse. And when she sat down, immediately something bit her butt, and she screamed and jumped up. Her brother came out to check it out. Motherfucking bear hanging out in this goddamn outhouse. Let's see. I have
a bear.
Let's see. I have a bit more I can read here.
I crazier than an outhouse bear.
I opened the toilet seat, and there's just a bear face just right there, level at the toilet seat, just looking right back up through the hole, right at me, he said. I just shut the lid as fast as I could. There's a bear down there, and we got to get out of here, he said. And we ran back to the yurt.
How significant was this bite?
It wasn't bad. She didn't need stitches or anything. It was apparently he just nipped her.
Fascinating.
It was pretty crazy. Huh?
You're blocking my exit.
She
barely. Oh, went bear. You only got a point for that.
You got to think a bear could have taken off.
Oh, what's this?
Half a cheek, right?
Yeah. I mean,
if you wanted to, yeah.
I saw the Reverend.
A Pooh Bear. No,
Stop that.
That's fair.
Oh, come on.
Stop that right now.
Oh, bother.
No bother.
Someone's blocking my entrance. Oh. I'm starting to think honey bucket doesn't mean what I thought. Oh.
Oh, bother.
Chris almost got slapped.
Oh my god. Okay.
Shakti Matt's kicking in.
It is something is. Okay. The next Spike Lee joint might surprise some of you. It's been announced that the famous director's next movie will be a movie musical about the origins of Viagra.
Damn it.
Oh, Lyle, you should have fucking went with your gut, bro. You should have went with your dick.
Yeah, that would have pulled him
Should
ahead.
have went with your dick. What happened? Instead,
Where are
he's
we, though?
tied. Currently, the score is John Mark 3, Ron 2, Lyle 3. Now, fortunately for you guys, I have been procuring a wonderful list of motherfucking tiebreakers, and I'm quite proud of them.
Oh, good.
In fact, I even have some sent from listeners, including from our good friend, Andrea Smith Newburn. She sent me this, so here it is. Okay, John Mark and Lyle, I need you both to open up a separate message to me, text, Facebook, don't care. I can get them both. And whoever gets closest is going to win here. How far can the human anus stretch before taking damage?
I've got stories.
How far
I've got stories.
can the human anus stretch before taking some damage?
Define damage.
Oh, something that you have to go to the hospital for, probably.
Do we have to? Is,
So not
is there a
necessarily
multiple
prolapse.
choice, or would you have to just like throw it out there?
Just throw it out there.
It's more like
We're talking like centimeters, inches.
Yeah, what increments?
Let's go inches.
Okay.
I'm like feet.
I've seen strange porn
How many
like that.
meters?
Could go 2 foot sticks, like
Okay. I've got Lyle's answer.
So it's hard to say.
And this is diameter, right? I'm assuming.
Yeah. See, that's the problem about the question. Is it
Yes.
diameter? Or is it
Yeah.
because it's a lot smaller if you think about it.
Mark's he's like getting out the ruler.
He's up to 2 knuckles.
This is so fucking fascinating. Okay, so John Mark was playing for TJ. Lyle was playing for Skip. Lyle said 4 inches. John Mark said 7 inches. The correct answer is 7 inches. Exactly.
That
Dr.
careful consideration.
Spy camp probably taught him that.
Yeah.
There's no reason that I would have guessed that.
Only
Well, I don't know if we're gonna buy that.
only because he used to work in a
What a
porno
coincidence.
shop. Remember, boys?
It's not like I shoved a 7-inch diameter, 7-inch long thing up my ass and had to go to the hospital.
Not when I worked at the old porno shop. No, but
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there probably was a certain size that had to come with a disclaimer on it.
right.
Well, congratulations, John
Yeah,
Mark
TJ.
and TJ.
Yeah,
Who was
and
I playing
TJ.
for? Who did I lose
Ooh.
for? I can't remember.
I think Katie. Let me double check
Oh,
here.
yeah, Katie.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're playing
right.
for Katie.
Sorry,
It's
Katie.
okay.
You knew
We'll
going
get
into
thrown
it.
back in. Yeah.
That, yeah, it was going to be like an anal injury having me play for you. But John Mark, on the other hand, is just...
He went 8 inches. Sorry.
just I went that,
Shouldn't
that
have gone greedy.
dreaded 8-inch. But John Mark is still on fucking fire. It still pays to come up with his name.
I felt you trying that time, Ronner. Man, I
That
gotta get off this podcast. Yeah, I did. I was like, man, he's really putting effort in this time. He's not cowboying it.
He got 2 right. I got which was a 2-pointer question. I got 1. He's really stepped up his
I
game.
still think you tried. I still think you put a good effort in, Tiger.
And I like to think that I always try. Yes, sometimes I do specifically chase the stupid answers, but well, yeah, I thought about them. Anywho, well, another solid round. Let's get on out of here. Next week, we'll probably be getting caught up on some listener feedback, of which we have been getting plenty, and maybe a news roundup, shoot the shit, a little more casual than this one. Although this one was all over the map for a while. And do experiment with the Shakti mat. Like I said, though, another disclaimer, you may want to check with your doctor if you have any kind of skin condition or maybe even like a heart condition. I don't know. It's intense. When you first, Chris can now attest twice, when you lay on that thing, it's an all-consuming experience. And I don't know.
Getting up is the worst.
There's got to be
Getting
something
up is the worst.
That could trigger some sort of condition that might trigger. So I don't look into it before you just go do it. But if you're overall healthy, I just say go for it. I think it's going to be a magical experience. Chris, you'll have to report back when you do get on it for the 3rd time, and just give it that stillness. I think once you do that, you're going to stay on it for like half hour or 40 minutes. You may even fall asleep on it, like I've done many times. It's a different thing when you don't move at all. Other than that, tune in next week. Maybe 9/11. We just can't know, folks. Stay off the dark web. Be kind to animals.
And don't go further than 7 inches wide.
Call it a day at 7. I think that's a standard rule. Call it at 7.
We call that the Snyder cut.
Just no need to
Don't
keep
go beyond
going,
the Snyder
Snidey.
cut, all right?
Okay. All right. Tune in next week, y'all. Bye.
See you guys.
Have a good night.
Bye.
The Snyder Cut. Oh, bother.